In other news, did you see, dude, they've announced that Electro is returning to Spider-Man? Like, let's get into some Marvel talk here.
Did they announce that Electro is returning to Spider-Man? Or was it just Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx as Electro, as far as I found.
Him as Electro?
Jamie Foxx as Electro.
I'm interested in these rumors.
Okay, no.
I mean, I know that Jamie Foxx is confirmed, but the rumors around it that Garfield and Macguire are coming back.
Oh yeah, okay. See, I'm
because I think it's true
about this stuff. Yeah, no, I've seen things like Andrew Garfield, and then I've heard about Macguire coming back. But what I'm confused on is I thought maybe it was like cameo ideas, just for like little nods that they were talking about doing. But basically, if Spider-Man 3 has Electro as a villain in it and it's Jamie Foxx, are they just being like, oh, he would have played a good Electro, let's cast him again? Are they doing a straight up like universes collide type of thing? Like, is he going to come out of the Amazing Spider-Man universe?
I'm not convinced that he's going to come in as Electro, though. I don't know. It depends on how many of these rumors turn out to be true. Like, I know that Jamie Foxx is signed on, as far as we know. I don't think he signed on as Electro, though, because I don't remember who it was, but it was one of like the Marvel executives during the Sony email leaks. It was one of the MCU executives, and it was during those email leaks and all those email leaks about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And there was an email leak where one of the MCU executives was talking about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 script, and he ripped Electro in that movie. Like, just as a character, he totally ripped into him and talked about how terrible of a character he was and how terrible of a villain he was. He didn't have defined powers, and it was just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have a hard time believing that they're going to bring that Electro in. And also, Jamie Foxx said he's not going to be blue.
So that's what confuses me, is the rumors of Garfield and Macguire being involved in the movie, and then Jamie Foxx. I'm like, are they bringing over things, or is it just like Jamie Foxx is cast in the movie? So in regards to what he'll be doing, Jamie Foxx is going to be in the movie, but then they're talking about Garfield and Macguire having, I would imagine, cameo type of appearances. But knowing Marvel, what I kind of expect, which to be fair, Sony still has a hand in this, which is probably why they're even able to do this type of crossover thing. But knowing Marvel, I feel like they would not actually lean into such a exciting and cool sounding storyline with that kind of crossover. I feel like they would be like, oh, and by the way, here's a little cameo where we just show you that Andrew Garfield exists in this world, or in another dimension, like an element where like Tom Holland gets to peek into other dimensions and he just sees them and there's like a little joke about that kind of stuff.
I could also see them playing other Spider-Man who are not necessarily from their movies, you know? Have it be like a nod to their movies, but not actually be strictly from their movies.
Yeah.
You know? Have it be like, oh, that's Andrew Garfield. He's got a similar costume to what he had in that one, but he's just a Spider-Man. And then you got Toby Macguire. He's got a similar costume to his original one, and he's just another Spider-Man. I could see them doing that more than being like, yeah, let's bring Andrew Garfield from his movie.
Yeah.
And just continue with that. Because there's got to be some, if they did that, there's got to be some time passed too.
Yeah.
Because they're a lot older now, both of them.
I've also heard talk of casting a Miles Morales character too, like casting someone to play Miles Morales, which I don't think they would have like him play a major role, but it almost sounds like maybe with the success of Into the Spider-Verse and that character and the idea of these colliding universes, they might be trying to hawk that trend. And I doubt they would do it in the third movie, but kind of start. I feel like maybe they open the door in this movie.
Yeah.
It's too early, I guess, before we don't really know enough about the movie. At least I don't, to really know where they're going storyline with. I don't even know who the villain is for this one.
They're going to have to find something in the MCU because I don't think Captain Marvel is going to hold people's attention the way that Robert Downey Jr. did. We just very sadly lost Chadwick Boseman, who to me would be the second person to step in and be like the lead.
Yeah.
I don't think Doctor Strange is going to be the lead of the MCU now.
I don't think
you kind of have to have a lead. Sorry, nobody cares about Mark Ruffalo as Hulk. He hasn't even gotten his own movie. Like you're kind of running out of things to do. So if they went and just said, okay, now we're doing a multiverse, That's a different direction that would have me actually go.
It actually makes sense, too.
And be excited to see one.
When Tom Holland was introduced, Spider-Man, they were talking about Spider-Man being the successor to Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. And honestly, now the more I think about it, it does make perfect sense, because the only thing that can get bigger and better and crazier and higher stakes than Thanos time traveling, snapping everyone out of existence and saving the entire universe is to get into multiple universes.
Yeah.
And I mean, that really could be their key. And I mean, there's plenty of storylines within the comics that fans love that involve those types of things, and everything along with like Secret Wars. I've heard a lot of people wanting to get into Secret Wars and rumors about them including elements like that in further movies. So, I mean, because they really need to come out swinging. Like right now, the lineup of movies does not swing. Like Black Widow, Captain Marvel, even Spider-Man 3. None of it like comes out like hitting me with like, that is so awesome. I can't wait to get back into Marvel movies. They need to do something like that. They've got to drop a storyline that makes you go, where are we going with this?
Right.
Because we always knew from Iron Man early on, like we always knew, oh God, Thanos is getting that Infinity Gauntlet and it's about to get real. We don't have that anymore right now. Mm-hmm. So we need to see whatever the first or second movie that comes back needs to set something up that's going to put something in play that's really going to be rewarding.
Yeah. And also after, what was it, Endgame? I always forget the title of that one. After Endgame, it's a little hard to go down to like Spider-Man Far From Home and be like, oh, cool. Now we're just concerned about this high school trip to, I don't remember where he was in that movie. Wherever.
Somewhere
on a high school trip. Mysterio's here. Wow. Big stakes. You just kind of go, like, no, they just snapped everybody out of existence, snapped him back into existence. And now we're just like, well, he's going on a trip. Let's get real excited, guys.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of have this issue where how do you go up from Endgame? Like, how do you do something more interesting? You would have to go not necessarily bigger, but you'd have to either really hone in and focus on the characters. I don't feel like they're going to do that. I feel like they're going to keep it with the keep it with the MCU.
Yeah,
because
they would have to go in the opposite direction.
They've always relied heavily on connections with each other. Like, I don't think any of the movies have really like relied on just the characters of the movies.
Yeah, you need
They've always
really character
relied
heavy,
on
like,
moving forward some other
deconstruction type of movie, like
right.
a Logan type of movie.
And I don't think they're going to go that route.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go the multiverse route.
Yeah, which I'm not too pumped on anything Marvel right now, especially after Endgame. I wasn't even that pumped at that point, but like I saw it through to the end, and I'm okay with the way they finished that. That being said, they need something to get people involved, because I know a lot of people are they just like to go see Marvel movies. They'll go see them. We'll check them out. But we kind of need something to get excited about when it comes to Marvel movies. And if they pull off something like a strong multiverse idea, I wouldn't get like hooked into it, but I'm there for it. I'll check it out. Like, I'm interested to see what they would do. Whereas right now I'm like, maybe I'll see it because it's a blockbuster film and I'm bored. But like, if they actually do that, I'd be like, so what's going to happen next? I'm actually interested in where we're going. So
right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I know they still. Well, I don't know if they still want to, but I know it was never fully canceled, as far as I know. The Sinister Six movie that was originally planned for Garfield Spider-Man, and then moved on to just being totally unrelated, and then moved on to maybe being part of Tom Holland's thing. Yeah, I wonder if they would bring that out. It would be interesting if they took like Jamie Foxx from Garfield Spider-Man, or maybe somebody from the Raimi Spider-Man, and then somebody from Tom Holland Spider-Man, and made that almost like the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd actually do that, but it does make me wonder why they would bring Jamie Foxx, a villain that was supposedly killed from a dead series, into Tom Holland Spider-Man.
What I think, in closing, what I think that Marvel needs to do is, and it's a question of whether or not they have the balls to do it and whether or not they can pull it off. I think it can continue as it is and do okay. I don't think that they can reach the heights that they reached with the last arc unless they go out on a limb and try something truly new and impressive, something exciting, something creative, something that makes people go, oh, wow, they mean business. Because they've fallen into a place where I feel like it's just like, oh, yeah, it's just part of the daily schedule. New Marvel movie. Yeah. We're just doing these things. But Endgame and that entire Avengers arc really went like, despite it being something we built up to it being part of the system of Marvel that we were used to, it was such a climax that it made people be like, wow, that's something we have not seen. That is a scope that we were not like, that we've always wanted to see. Mm-hmm. Now, what have we always wanted to see now? I can't think of anything. You have to come up with something that throws me for a loop. You have to give me a curveball. And what I want to see is Marvel actually wind up that curveball and throw and see what we get. And I think they can stick the landing. They have enough money. They have enough people behind it. I think they can stick it if they will commit to it. The problem is the fear that you get from these big corporate companies and the fact that they're not willing to trust an idea, to trust the concept. So that's what I would like to see personally.
Yeah. I'd just like to see Into the Spider-Verse too, actually.
Yeah, the truth is what they would be doing regardless is just trying to capitalize on Into the Spider-Verse and hawk that success, which I don't know if that would sit well with fans, but